Good afternoon. As the daughter of Helena and Vincent Knapczyk, I have a unique and personal perspective from which to consider the events beginning in Poland the year 1940. I had heard my parents' story since I was a little girl, many times told by my mother with tears in her eyes. Images played like a movie in my mind, bits and pieces of a world that seemed as if it could not be real. Places that even in my imagination were foreboding and scary. Cattle trains full of people, eyes open wide with fear or disbelief that they were leaving Poland. Deep, dark woods at the other side of ice-laden rivers on the frozen tundra of Siberia. And the continuing journey on the piercingly hot and dusty roads of present-day Iran. And sometimes I can almost hear the wildlife, the buzzes and the screeches of an African night in the orphanage and camp forged in the middle of a jungle. As I grew older and went through elementary school and high school, I increasingly wanted to piece together the harrowing personal stories of my parents' experience with a historical record to try to understand the political and military events through World War II, those events directly related to my family's experience. But I could not find that record. The history books didn't mention it, my teachers didn't talk about it. In college, with a wider breadth of research material available, I realized, without a doubt, that this piece of history was somehow lost or hidden among other events of the war that were more publicized through films, books, and lecture. While other events of the war were increasingly embedded into the collective historical memory, how unfair it seemed that the events that took away so much from my mother and father, aunts and uncles, along with 1.5 million people in the mass deportations from Poland to Siberia, were virtually unknown and still remain unknown. These survivors have lost more than we can even imagine in our own lives. So much was taken away from them. They lost their mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers. They lost their homes. They lost opportunities to become teachers, engineers, lawyers, or doctors. They lost the freedom to remain in the country of their language, traditions, and culture. With so much taken away, what is so amazing to me, as my parents showed me every day through my life, is what no one could take away from them. The resilience to build successful lives in an unfamiliar country, an unshakable faith which helped them to make choices with a decent and moral compass, a commitment to build a close-knit and loving family, and the intelligence to balance their citizenship in one country while remaining dedicated to keep connections to their beloved Poland. I can't tell you how many times I have looked at them with a sense of overwhelming pride and wonder at their courage and their strength. I am grateful for my parents' sharp and vivid memories and their willingness to share the stories of their experience. These stories are not only part of their history, but that of my sisters, my cousins, our children, our grandchildren, and reality, everyone in this room. This is our legacy. It's a legacy of heartbreak and loss, but also one of honor and endurance. This is a history that should be told, examined, and analyzed. We have to work to make sure that these events are not among the lost or the forgotten parts of the past, but instead hold a place in the human record as permanent evidence of the lives and experiences of all of these incredible survivors.